outside of reporting, like what other areas are you looking at to audit? Because I think, again, when we think about audits, oftentimes it's maybe has a negative connotation. We're trying to find what went wrong with our really tactical areas. But when we talk about
Mhm.
everything that goes into marketing and advertising, how are we looking at our creative? How are we looking at our different targeting and the audiences we're honing in on? So not necessarily just, the budget and the marketing mix, but how are we looking at everything else that really does impact who buys and what that customer journey looks like?
Yeah, and when we're going through audits, we want to look at a few things. Like you said, creative. We not only are going to look at what your creative looks like, but what is your competitors doing in the market as well. So putting them side by side, do they have offers or incentives for users to see where you are not providing any incentives there? Or other things that we are going to be looking at are landing pages. How is your landing page really built up? Is there somewhere to call? Is there somewhere to fill out a form? How is that overall user experience as they're moving through that page that they're landing on? And something else that we even look at, when it comes to local service ads specifically is that time to respond. Google also shows, may respond in an hour, may respond in 5 minutes. So sometimes those things show up. So we want to just ensure that operationally our clients are also set up. So looking at some of those other items of once we get them to your website, what is that full on customer journey of how do they contact you and what happens after that fact? So always just looking at the full funnel of how a user gets to your site, how they interact, and then how they move on from there.
And really to directly address the question about brand lift study, brand has a lot to do with understanding how not only what your promotional cycle looks like, but if there's peaks and valleys to that customer journey, to your industry. Are there times of heavy up, times to go dark? Are there optimizations based on regional seasonality? All of those considerations. And then also looking at, when you look at your market and you look at your competitive set, what are those value propositions? What are those USPs? What are we doing amongst that competitive set? And that's something that we deep dive into that, there's a direct correlation of that as it relates to brand and brand lift is what is the value proposition, not only of your promotions and what you have in market against your competitive set, but also as a brand. What are those USPs? What are those key differentiators that kind of separate you to create your own identity and market? So those are a couple of the things, and that's how we would address that brand lift study.